At one point, in response to Todd Blanche just generally saying that his client was, doing his best to follow the terms of the gag order, the judge, Mershon, turned to him and said, "You are losing all credibility." So first thing on Monday, the judge gave us his verdict in what's known as a Sandoval hearing, which happened last Friday. So essentially, the judge decided that if Trump testifies, the prosecution is allowed to bring up just sort of the basic facts of 4 of Trump's past legal entanglements that did not go well for him. If Trump testifies, they can bring up the 2 E. Jean Carroll defamation suits involving her sexual assault claim. They can bring up the Attorney General Letitia James's civil fraud trial and the verdict that came out of that. And they can bring up a case from a few years back where Trump's charitable organization was accused of fraud and ultimately dissolved. After that, we finally got into opening statements, which gave us a look at what story each side is ultimately going to shape up for the jury. Prosecution story was that Donald Trump committed a smaller crime, falsification of business records, in service of a much bigger crime, which was improperly influencing the outcome of the 2016 presidential election. The defense had a slightly different job to do because the burden of proof obviously rests with the prosecution. What we saw was Trump's attorney, Todd Blanche, try and make a few different points, which is first and foremost that Donald Trump is innocent. And next, he tried to play off what happened with the checks to Stormy Daniels, that is the basis of the 34 counts of falsifying business records, as no big deal. He called them just 34 pieces of paper. And then he suggested that you can't really trust anyone who's going to be giving witness testimony in this case, namely Michael Cohen. David Pecker was our first witness. So at the time, he was running the National Choir and the company that publishes it, American Media Inc. And so what happened, what he testified to, was this sort of now infamous meeting at Trump Tower in August 2015. So it was a couple months after Trump announced he was going to run for president. He called in David Pecker, Michael Cohen, and Hope Hicks, who was his spokesperson at the time, and they all had a conversation about how David Pecker and his magazines could help the Trump campaign. Pecker agreed to was to publish positive stories about Trump, to publish negative stories about Trump's political enemies. There was a hearing about Trump's gag order. And the prosecutors brought up 10 instances where they say Trump violated the gag order. And one of those that they spent a little bit of time on in the hearing was actually a repost that Trump reshared something that had come from Fox News host Jesse Waters, where he said, they're trying to get liberal activists on the Trump jury, which is obviously not true. Trump's team tried to argue that, the repost shouldn't even count because he wasn't, coming up with that content. He was just resharing it. And the judge did not seem to be buying that. We've seen Trump continue to attack the court, the judge, the prosecutors, the witnesses. The prosecution has said that they will basically take into account the stuff that we've seen this week that are probable gag order violations. The judge has yet to rule on whether or not Trump violated his gag order. It seems likely that Trump may face a fine. The prosecutors are asking for a fine of $1,000 for each alleged violation. So 10 violations, so $10,000. But if this keeps going, the judge has the power to jail Trump, which would be pretty extreme given who he is. But if he, doesn't show any willingness to hem in his commentary, there are other roads that the judge could take in that matter.